Guru Brahma Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you very much. So we have tonight a new Sisya, a new student here. Would you like to say some words for yourself? Only you must unmute your microphone.
Would that be me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, namaste.
Namaste. Welcome, first of all.
Thank you. Yes, so my name is Kalman Honig. I live in New York City. And I guess just briefly, I've had very little exposure, relatively speaking, throughout my life to Advaita Vedanta and Eastern and Indian spirituality until about maybe 10 years ago, when I started dabbling in one form or another, following Thich Nhat Hanh and reading his books and practicing meditation. And I heard of transcendental meditation and met someone here in New York City, got a mantra. And then sort of the long and the short of it is, I would say I was practicing mindfulness and meditation for a number of years, but more in a non-spiritual way. And then over the past year, I would say particularly, I started to get very, very unsettled with the notion that when we die, that's it. And that became completely confounding for me. It was very, very unsettling. And so I just kind of reflected back. I had learned a little bit about Advaita Vedanta in the past, and that just kind of kept coming up for me. I got a Bhagavad Gita, and I've basically been pouring myself into it. And looking to kind of expand my understanding, my practice, and connect with like-minded people. There's so much more, obviously, but in the interest of time. And thank you for welcoming me and having me here.
You are most welcome. Also your friends and those who are interested for what we call self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha, using the terminology of Advaita Vedanta. Everybody is most welcome in our online Satsanga. You can inform them that always our Satsanga is free of charge. And we do that as a seva, which means as a service for the Loka Sangraham, which means for the upliftment of society, of humanity. So everybody is most welcome always to join us. We have started this online Satsanga with a text called Tattva Bodha from Adi Shankaracharya, and we have finished that text, and today we are about to start another scripture, one of the most important, the Bhagavad Gita, And in particular, tonight we will start from the second chapter, because the actual teaching starts from that chapter. As in the first chapter, we have only the sorrow of Arjuna, and it is mostly an introduction. So now we will allow the Sishya Andrew to start reading, and when I feel that I need to comment, I will say to Andrew to pause a little bit to comment, or I will give some time to those of you who would like to ask a question or to clarify a doubt. So, Andrew, can you start?
Yes. Apologies in advance for any bad pronunciation of the Sanskrit words, or not any. There will probably be a lot of mispronunciation. Okay, so chapter 2. Now hereafter, he will enter into the actual Gita teaching, which is the 11th verse of the second chapter. For that he is giving the introduction. Now we are seeing the 11th verse of the second chapter. Tatra. This being so, that Gita Sastra is primarily meant to teach Jnanam as the means of liberation. That being established, now we are entering the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna has become the candidate, the student of Bhagavad Gita, having discovered samsara in the first chapter, and also having surrendered to Krishna in the second chapter. Because Guru Upasadanam is another qualification which should be joined with Sadhana Katustaya Sampati. In fact, in Anubhuti Prakasa, elsewhere, Vijayaranya nicely says, include Garupa Sadhanam also in the list of qualifications. Either you put as the fifth qualification or in some place add it. Therefore, Arjuna has discovered samsara and also surrendered to Krishna. And Shankaracharya looks at the condition of Arjuna. He says, Dharma Samuda Setasa. Arjuna is thoroughly confused, is in conflict regarding Dharma, Adharma. So he is confused regarding Dharma. What is the Dharma here? Whether fighting is Dharma or not fighting is Dharma. Why do we say he has got conflict? Because fighting is Dharma, but he thinks it is Adharma. Because he said, Papam eva asrayet asman. And not fighting is Adharma. And he says, we will not fight. Bhakshyam bhoktum apishriya. We will become sannyasins. And therefore, he is thoroughly confused. And because of that, only Mahati Soka Sagari Nimagnasya, he is totally immersed, submerged in the ocean of grief, ocean of sorrow, the vast and deep ocean of samsara. Agarjunasya of Agarjuna. Krishna wanted to find out the appropriate medicine, whether I should teach him Dharma Sastra or whether I should teach Mokha Sastra. It's the point which we generally don't discuss in Mula. Arjuna did not ask for self-knowledge. If you see that in the Upanishad, the path is very clear. The student is very clear. He asks for knowledge, and therefore adhihi bhagavo brahmeti, and the teacher gives. Now in the Gita, Arjuna did not ask for self-knowledge. He says, Dharma samuda sita yat. Dharma samuda sita yat sriyashat nisitam brui tatmi. Teach me what is good.
Okay, let's have a small pause here. So we have, as a general concept in Bhagavad Gita, this battle between one family, members of one family. And Arjuna is there to fight for Dharma. Why? Because one part of the family is against Dharma. And as a warrior, a Kshatriya, his Dharma, his duty is to fight, is to protect the kingdom from adharma, which means actions, activity against the Dharma. So he's in grief because he's about to kill and to fight with his own relatives and friends and even gurus. And he's in a great conflict inside his heart because on one hand, he must fight as a Kshatriya. On the other hand, he should kill, he should fight with his best friends, best relatives, and even gurus. And he's in a total confusion. So this is mostly about the first chapter, where we see the situation, the emotional situation of Arjuna. In the second chapter, we start by seeing Krishna to give him the lesson that he needs, the teaching that he needs, in order to start changing his mind, becoming courageous, in order to fight and to accomplish his Dharma. He is not asking for jnanam, which is the self-knowledge, or Brahma Vidya, which is the knowledge of Brahman. He is asking for a direction, a GPS in his life, this crucial moment. He don't know what is the best for him to do. So he needs a guru. He needs what we will say in the West, someone who will play the role of a guide. And Krishna is, of course, in the position to teach him not only what he should do about his Dharma, but also what he should do later on about moksha, self-realization. So according to Jnanam and Advaita Vedanta in particular, we need to have some qualifications, which is called sadhana chatustaya sampati, which is the fourfold qualifications. This is something that we have been discussed already in Tattva Bodha in our previous Satsanga. So I will not stay on that portion, but we should understand the situation of Arjuna. And Krishna will start soon to give him the direction in life that he needs. He is in a complete, devastating moment where he don't really know what to do. And here comes the importance of a guru. Without a guru, it is impossible to lead yourself to self-realization, enlightenment, moksha. Why? Just because it is very, very difficult and very, very full of obstacles. So you need a guru who knows the path already, because he had the guru had the guru, and he knows the path, he knows the traps in the path, and he knows how to guide the Sishya, the student, in this path towards self-realization enlightenment. And gradually he will start teaching Arjuna, first of all, this immediately help that he needs to find a direction on how to proceed in his life. And later on, he will proceed in teaching him the way to moksha, self-realization, or jnana yoga. So let's listen to Adriu as he's continue to read, and we will do again a pause soon.
And what is my problem? He doesn't say self-ignorance is my problem. He says dharma, adharma, confusion is my problem. Therefore, two things. He did not ask for knowledge, and not only that, contextually, he says my problem is dharma, adharma. Therefore, what should have been Krishna's teaching? Krishna should have taught dharma only. So the whole Bhagavad Gita must have been Dharma Sastram. But we are elaborately commenting on Gita, and when he summarized in the first chapter, he said, Jnanad Moksha is the Sara of the Gita. Now the problem has come. Is Gita Dharma Sastram or Moksha Sastram? This question we don't raise because we superficially study, and after we have understood some topic, we close the book. In fact, when you study the scripture and the Bhashyam, there are two types of approach. One is wanting to listen to what I want, and another is applying the mind to understand clearly whatever topic is in the Sastra, to understand clearly if grammar point comes, or if Vedanta point comes, or if Tarka Sastra point comes. Whenever you enter deeper study of Sastra, we should change the attitude. Our aim should be thoroughly understanding of the topic available there, and not looking for a particular topic of my choice. It should not be selective study, but thorough understanding of the topic available there. When you try to study that way, we get new issues. And also it will throw more light on Vedanta also. It will ultimately help Vedanta also. Here, what is the problem? Is Gita Dharma Sastram or Moksha Sastram? Contextually, Gita should be Dharma Sastram only. Now, Shankaracharya casually answers that. He says Krishna knows that Arjuna had expressed confusion regarding Dharma Sastra only. But here, Arjuna's problem is not ignorance of Dharma Sastra. If confusion is born out of ignorance of Dharma Sastra, then Gita must be the teaching of Dharma Sastra. Because where ignorance is the problem, the solution must be knowledge. Now here the problem is not ignorance, because all the Pandavas are well versed in Dharma Sastra. In fact, his brother is Dharmaputra himself. In fact, they have analyzed Dharma Sastra for 13 years, and thereafter only they have come to the battlefield. Therefore, the problem is not a moha caused by Dharma Sastra and Jnanam. It is a moha caused by Atma and Jnanam, which has created the Dharma Sastra confusion itself, caused by attachment. It is not Ajnanam caused moha, it is attachment caused moha. and detachment is because of self-ignorance. Therefore, Krishna discerned mind Arjuna did not express the problem as Atma Ajnana Janya Moha, Natu Dharma Ajnana Janya Moha. And therefore, what is required is not Dharma Sastra teaching, but his Atma Sastra teaching.
All right, let's do a small pause here. So we have seen that Arjuna, he is in total grief and confusion, and he is searching for a solution and a way through the teaching of Krishna, who becomes his guru. In this particular moment of his life, he is most interested to take a decision on this dilemma that he is facing. Should I fight? This is a dharmic activity. If I will fight, if I will kill my friends, my relatives, my gurus, is that dharmic or adharmic? Will this lead me also to moksha, or this will lead me to more samsara, more papa, more bad karma? So he's totally confused. But Gita, as I said earlier, the Bhagavad Gita, do serve as also a Dharma Gita and also a Gita for moksha, for self-realization. It combines both of them. And as we see from the commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya, and as he is explaining these commentaries, my Guru Swami Paramarthananda ji, in the text that Andrew is reading, it is very important to understand that Dharma, following Dharma, is something that it is conducive to moksha, to self-realization. And when don't following Dharma, it is not conducive to self-realization. And what is Dharma? It is the laws of the universe for a harmonious life in accordance with the laws of the universe and laws of the society for a harmonious and peaceful and blissful living. So the sages of Sanatana Dharma, they have been studied all these laws and they have been prescribed all these dharmic laws to the humanity in order for humanity, the human beings, to lead a harmonious, a happy, and a peaceful life. So we will see in the Bhagavad Gita all these laws, and not only we'll see the dharmic laws, but also we will see the ways how to lead ourselves to self-realization, to moksha. And how we can lead ourselves to moksha? We can through self-knowledge, through jnanam, self-knowledge, through knowledge. When somebody is ignorant of something, he becomes a knowable person about something. How? Through study, through knowledge. If, for example, Andrew don't know Greek, he must Greek language. He must go to a professor of a Greek language. He must buy some books of the Greek language. He must study the books under the competent guru's instructions and guidance. And finally, he will end up learning to speak and to know Greek language. So there is no other recipe or a formula for self-knowledge, self-realization, other than jnanam, knowledge. Shastra study, the scriptural study, under the guidance of a competent guru. The competent guru, how he became competent, a competent guru, he became by following as a sishya, as a student, another competent guru, who by himself also was a competent sishya of another guru, and so on and so forth. So there is no other solution than Shastra, scriptural study, having as a guide a guru, listening to the teachings, study the teachings. This is called Sravana in our tradition, in Advaita Vedanta. Then asking the guru questions, resolving and solving doubts. This is called manana. And finally, doing nididhyasanam or Vedantic meditation to assimilate the knowledge of the self in his life and also in his self, deep in his heart of hearts. So this is the process that we will see also in Bhagavad Gita. And why we will see this process? Because the Bhagavad Gita is a summary of the Vedanta. It is one of the most wonderful summaries of Advaita Vedanta. And at the same time, it is a wonderful manual for a peaceful, a happy, and blissful life. A wonderful GPS, how to lead your life towards self-realization, and in between, how to have this wonderful, peaceful, blissful, and wonderful life in general. So let's listen a little bit more from Andrew, from the text of the commentaries of my guru, based on the commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya himself.
So here I will give the gist of the sloka. Shankaracharya says Krishna's intention is made very clear, even though Arjuna's confusion is Dharma, Adharma conflict. Krishna takes it as a problem of self-ignorance. Expressed problem is Dharma Sastra problem. Explicit problem is Dharma Sastra problem. Implicit problem is Brahma Sastra problem. And therefore, the solution is Brahma Vidya. That intention Krishna makes very, very clear. Pandita na anusukanti. That word Pandita is the clinching evidence. Pandita means Atmajnani. In the Bhashyam, he will prove that. Pandita is not Dharma Jnani. Atma Jnani doesn't grieve. Therefore, Arjuna, what you require is not Dharma Sastram, but Upanishad Sastram. Shankaracharya begins his commentary on the Gita with the 11th verse of the 2nd chapter, because the 11th verse alone is the beginning of the Gita teaching. And in the 11th verse, Bhagavan introduces the subject matter of the Gita. And no doubt that Arjuna did not ask for Atma Vidya explicitly. He only said, I am confused with regard to Dharma, Adharma, and I am surrendering unto you. He did not explicitly ask for Atma Vidya. If you go by strict tradition, Krishna should not have given Atma Vidya, because Atma Vidya cannot be given unless explicitly asked for. So the question comes, how did Krishna violate the tradition and choose to teach Atma Vidya? For which Shankaracharya gave the answer in his introduction to this sloka. What was that answer? Arjuna's confusion regarding Dharma did not come because of the ignorance of Dharma. If the confusion is born out of Dharma ignorance, then Krishna should teach Dharma Sastra. But Krishna knows Arjuna is well versed in Dharma Sastra. He is the brother of Dharmaputra. He even uses the word atatayi, etc., which are unique words used in Dharma Sastra. Therefore, Arjuna's problem is not Dharma as Nanam, but it is attachment to Bhisma and Drona, attachment which is born out of Atma as Nanam.
Let's do a small pause here again. So we have the jnana and we have the ajnanam. We have jnanam and also ajnanam. What means ajnanam means the lack of self-knowledge. And the self-knowledge can be derived from the Upanishads, which is what we call the Vedanta. But again, Arjuna here do not ask for Atmajnanam or Brahma Vidya, but he's asking a guidance how to solve this dilemma that he has in his heart, to fight or not to fight. Is this a dharmic activity or an adharmic activity? Later on, Krishna will continue, after giving him the instructions, will at the same time give him the teachings according to the leading to self-realization moksha. So it is very, very important to understand that when somebody is in a total confusion in his life, it is very, very difficult to study under a competent guru Atma Jnanam or Brahma Vidya. It is very difficult. Why? Because he has this strong problem in his life. He is in a very difficult situation. And first of all, he needs to know how to lead his life according to Dharma. And that's how Krishna will proceed to his teaching to Arjuna. So first he will calm down Arjuna, and after he will speak to him about Dharma, and after he will speak to Arjuna about the self-realization process or moksha. But in this point, maybe somebody would like to have a question or to comment, and he can do so, or she can do so. Yes, please. Welcome.
Yeah, so I thought I was understanding, and then maybe got a little bit confused. And also, please forgive some of the mispronunciations, as the language is unfamiliar to me, and I'm just kind of getting more and more used to it. If I'm understanding, somewhat correctly, Arjuna believes that his problem, or that the quandary that he's in, is dharmic. Is fighting dharma or adharma? Meaning what is this action aligned with the laws of the universe that promote harmony and unification? That's what he's thinking, oh, this is my problem. And that's the explicit, as we were reading, that's the sort of explicit. The actual problem is that of ignorance of that he is attached to the notion that there is life, there is death, there's birth and death, that I am not a higher self. I am this body, they are of that body, and therefore I'll kill them, they'll kill me. And so I think the confusion that I just had was just now when you were saying that, is it that Sri Krishna answers by way of and this is where I get confused. He's answering by way of jnana, by way of how to achieve moksha, or he is responding as far as dharma is concerned. That's where I get a little bit, that's where I'm getting confused, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he's responding to Arjuna both ways. He will mention also Dharma teachings, and also he will mention the moksha teachings, the teachings related to self-realization moksha. So he will do a combination. And at the same time, he will try to make Arjuna to go beyond this illusory world, the illusory body-mind complex, the illusory jiva. As you said, Arjuna believes that he is a jiva, that he is a soul, and that he is a limited person. And Krishna will gradually lead him and guide him to see the truth that he is not a jiva, he is not a person, he is not a body-mind complex. And after doing so, he will start giving him the most profound teachings of Advaita Vedanta that will lead him to the transcendental wisdom of Vedanta. But as I said earlier, he cannot do it immediately from the beginning, because first of all, he needs to calm him down. He needs to pamper him. He needs to make him feel protected. He needs to make him feel that he will give him the solution, and that he will end up doing the right thing. And we will see later on that Arjuna will understand the situation, and he will fight. But at the same time, he will be aware that who is fighting is not his real self, as Brahman, as the infinite consciousness. But who is fighting is the body-mind complex, the apparent jiva. Anybody else? Yes.
Just to add to this particular dialogue a little bit more,
Sure.
and give a little bit of clarity, if I may actually pitch in. Namaste Guruji, and namaste to everyone who are participating. This dialogue that is going on between Krishna and Arjuna is in a battlefield at this point in time. And being in a battlefield, Arjuna is definitely confused and feels that he has to win the war against his own relatives and the gurus. But apparently Krishna tries to clarify the point, telling that, look, the reason why you are here in this particular battlefield is because there has been some adharmic actions by your opponents. And because of the adharmic actions by your opponents is why you are here in a war. And it is your dharma to fight the war and win the war, no matter what its consequences are. And hence Krishna says, look, it is righteous at this point in time to be dharmic, but to an extent of going to the war and winning the war, and that is also dharmic, in addition to trying to, follow the spiritual path. Thank you.
Exactly like that. And this is the situation that we see Krishna. That's why he don't start with the most profound teachings, but he starts teaching about the Dharma Sastra. Later on, as I said, he will proceed and he will also teach Jnana Sastra. Anybody else? Yes.
Namaste, Guruji. So, for the beginners, Bhagavad Gita is not for moksha. It is a life lesson, I think. Because as Indians, we know that we should, as a human being, we know that we should not kill that we should not beat, that we should not destroy others. We learn from the beginning. But when it comes to the life lessons, suppose I want to kill a cockroach in my house, then I have to remember Krishna's word. Yes, cockroach is harmful to my house. Cockroach is very unhygienic. I have to kill this. So I think Bhagavad Gita is a very good lesson in the life also. This is my opinion for the beginners.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed, it is, as I said earlier, like a GPS for all human beings, like a manual for life, for a beautiful life, for a peaceful and happy life. And that is why it is recommended to study all people from all over spiritual paths and all religions, because the messages in Bhagavad Gita are for any kind of religion and any kind of spiritual path. And it is the same, of course, with other wonderful texts such as the Ramayana. These are texts for the entire humankind, and they are really so beautiful in receiving the best advice for your life. Whether you are a Kshatriya, a warrior, or a Grihastha, a family person, or a sannyasi, a monk, or a daughter, a mother, a husband, a wife, whatever you are, and whatever roles, whichever roles you play in this dream of life, these wonderful scriptures will give you the best advice to lead a peaceful and happy and blissful life. So by saying this, I think we can do a little bit guided meditation and to close our satsanga for tonight. So I ask you to take a comfortable posture. You can use perhaps a mudra that you are familiar with, let's say Chin mudra or Gyan mudra, or any kind of mudra that you feel familiar with. Try to keep your spine erect and vertical with the ground, but without tension. Keep a mentality that what you do is not something exotic, but something like you eat or you drink water or you sleep. So try to be simple in this guided meditation. Follow the instructions of the Guru, and at the same time enjoy the process and be as much as possible relaxed and without any artificial attitude. So close your eyes and close them just simply, just like you want to go to sleep. without tension. Focus for the beginning in relaxing different parts of the body that you feel they are in some kind of tension. You can start scanning the physical body from the toes, the feet, and as you go upwards, check and relax all the parts of the physical body. Start with the legs, then the pelvic area, the belly, the chest, the spine, the head, the shoulders, the hands. Be sure that you don't keep any tension in each and every part of this physical body. And after we have dealing with the physical body, we will deal with the pranic body, pranamaya kosha. After we have relaxed the physical body, annamaya kosha. And we focus on the breathing. We become aware of the inhalation and exhalation without trying to modify in any way the breathing. Just by becoming fully aware of our inhalation and exhalation, we may relax also the pranamaya kosha, the pranic body. Keep your mouth closed as you inhale and exhale only through your nostrils. And gradually we will enter dealing with the manamaya kosha, the mind body. And how we will do that? We will allow all the thoughts to appear and disappear without any identification or attachment on them. So we will allow the thoughts to appear and disappear like clouds in the sky. And we will focus on the substratum of the thoughts, which is consciousness itself, our true self. So we will allow any kind of a thought to appear and disappear without being attached on these thoughts. Just let them come and go as the clouds passing by in the sky. And as we have already a deal with the manamaya kosha, we can deal now with the vijnanamaya kosha, the intelligent body, the intelligence, by focusing on the Lord by focusing on Isvara, by focusing on this omniscient one, we forget the small individual and we try to focus on this supreme power who is dealing with the entire apparent universe. So we don't forget that there is an intelligence which runs this beautiful dream of life. And gradually we can enter through Atma Vichara, through self-inquiry, in Anandamaya Kosa, the blissful body, forgetting all the previous steps. We may ask the question, who am I? What is this I that I am referring to whenever I say I? Is it possible to identify or to localize that I? If until now we had a firm belief that we are this I, this individual I, then right now try to localize that I. Is it possible to localize such an I? If you really believe that you are Andrew or Malati or Nagaraju or Milan or John or Mary or whatever, try to localize this person. Is it possible really to find this person somewhere? This individual? With real and honest scrutiny, you may find out that it is impossible to localize or to find any individual I. Every attempt will lead you to the space-like field of awareness, consciousness, or Brahman. That which is hearing now and knows that it exists cannot be localized by any means. The real I is beginningless, it is beyond space and time, it does not have a beginning point or an ending point, in the so-called space, and it is the same as it is the eternal here and now. That sameness in eternity is unmovable, attributeless, nameless, shapeless, and unborn. You only need to see that, seeing with inverted commas, of course, knowing that which is your true self, that which is of the nature, its Svarupa is Satchitananda. Infinite existence or beingness, infinite consciousness, awareness, impersonal, and Ananda, infinite happiness, peace, and bliss. So try to see what is there when you don't think something. Focus mostly between one thought and another. Be like a laser and focus in the space in between one thought and another. The more you practice, this space between one thought and another gradually will become more and more big. Big enough in a mature state to be able to recognize your true nature, your true self. Try now with me, which is the same consciousness as the so-called you. That which is speaking now, that which is listening, and that which is the substratum of the listening and the speaking is your own self. The one undivided essence, Brahman. You don't need to do anything at all than to be aware of your true nature, of your true self. And when you become aware, that has to be a permanent recognition and conviction of what it is your true self, your true nature. See how wonderful everything is, how perfect everything is when you don't think. How do you feel if you don't think? What is your status if you don't think? Right now, is there any problem? Can you be unhappy without thinking? Can you be sad without thinking? Can you be stressful without thinking? See that the cause of every negative emotion is just the thinking process. See that your true self, your true nature, is beyond the thinking process. Your true nature, your true self, can accommodate the thinking process or also the absence of the thinking process. And it is beyond both of them. See that your true nature, your true self, is just knowing, knowing, knowing. Very, very slowly, start moving the physical body without opening the eyes. Start being more aware of the physical body and its movement. Keep your eyes closed. Take a big inhalation from the nostrils. Hold as much as you can without discomfort. And exhale again through the nostrils. And when you have done that 3 times in total, open your eyes, look in front of you without moving the body for 1-2 minutes, and then we will be closing our tonight's satsanga. So who would like to chant to close the session?
May
Please.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next Sunday, 6 o'clock Greek time.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.